All right, my friends, guess what? We're up to step 3. You've made it this far. Look, yay! Now, it's just all downhill from here. We're just going to roll and just keep right on rolling. It's just all down here. This part is not bad at all. All right. The first thing we need to do is step 3, of course, is the sleeve. And as you can see, I went ahead and finished one side, the sleeve and the cuff of the sleeve. And let me just make sure I'm on. Here is my sleeve. Here is my nice seam. Here is where I picked up stitches at the bottom. No problem with the underarm because we stopped those yarn overs, well in advance of us doing the bottom of our arm space. There's my nice seam. Here's my nice, like I said, the sleeve, of course, little short sleeve in it, and my cuff. All right, so that's on this step. So for us to get going on this step, you're going to need, of course, another US number 9 16-inch circular needle. Remember, I went ahead and put all my stitches on one of these needles. It was worth the $2 or $3 I had to use with a coupon. Pick up some extra needles at Joann or Michael's or wherever you can pick yours up, to go ahead and have this on there and not have to deal with the scrap yarn and picking up and doing all of that. Just have it ready to go from needle to needle. So I'm ready to go on that. Let's see what else you're going to need. You're going to need a marker. You will, for counting rounds, we're going to be working in the round of this sleeve. Have a little notepad because we're going to just do you can do a row counter, but I like to tally on this. Sometimes people get all confused when they use a little row counter. Well, did I count that row at the start or did I count the row at the end? I'm going to show you, look, the cheesy way. Yeah, the old-fashioned cheesy way of marking sticks. So have a little notepad and a pen. And then eventually when we get down to the cuffs, you will go ahead and have your number 8 double-pointed needles ready to go. All right, that's what we need to get started. But before we get started, like I said, I already know my sleeve length because I don't usually wear, my arms are short. And so usually I stop any sleeve, all my sweaters, you'll see them all stop at the same, and I use the same number. I stop between my elbow and my wrist. So about right here. Now you can go all the way to your wrist, or you can stop the 3/4 lengths like me. It's whatever you want. All right. So, but if you're not sure what your number, you can take, if you don't have the little, if you didn't work up a swatch and put some ribbing on it, like I have some of my, my long tape swatches. Okay, then now that we've done the ribbing on the sweater, just decide where you want your cuff, whether you want it down to the wrist. Are you going that far down? You can put it here comfortably, and you can count the stitches. It needs to be an even number because we're going to be working in the round the 1 by 1, and it needs to be even in the round. So mine stops here, about right there. Of course, it'll be coming from this direction. But anyway, you can use this to go ahead and count and decide on the fit or the number you need for your cuff. My number is 44. I use that in all my sweaters. It doesn't matter if I bought a pattern or got it from a magazine. What we're doing is taking numbers and making it fit our body. So here we go. All right, I've got everything. I've got the yarn. I have my number 9 needles here. I've got my pad. And let's get started with our picking up the stitches on our sleeve. We don't have that many to pick up. And like I said, anytime, as we keep knitting these sweaters, you can always move your numbers around. If you feel like for you, 4 stitches was not enough, up in the sleeve, at the start of the sleeve, remember you have 8 stitches. So you can use that 8 any way you want it to. I picked up, just a reminder, I picked up 4 up here, right across the edge here. And then I'm going to add 2 in each corner. 2 here, 1, 2, and then 2 on this side. So 1, 2, so that makes 4. So really I picked up 8 stitches. But now you could have 6 down here and only pick up 1 on each side or something like that. So you can move your numbers around if you have to, if to get your fit. Because, the math can only do so much. You have to try to fit your body. Here we go. Leave a nice tail in case you need it a little later for something. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to look for my 4 stitches, and I'm just going to go into the 1. There's 2 on this side, and then I start at 1. This is 1, 2 on this side. I didn't have like a center stitch, so I just went into one of the stitches. And I'm simply going to take this yarn and go over my needle and pull up a loop. Now, I'm going to stop here, check and see how close I am in the camera frame, so that I do not keep moving the camera around, because I'm going to have to rotate this sweater. Alright, so here we go. So now, that's 1 stitch. We're picking up stitches, and I'm going under 2 strands. Can you see that? This just comes with practice, people. So then I loop around. Now I'm using the working yarn and the tail when I start out. See, let me just do it again so you can see it. See, I have the working yarn and the tail so that I lock that tail in. I just wrap it around. I go up under 2 stitches right there. The next stitch is 2. I wrap that yarn around and I just bring up a loop. Just like that. Now I can drop that tail and just make sure you got the tail. Put it in there, and now you have the working yarn. Just untwist it and drop it in there, down in the sleeve. Okay. Now I'm ready to continue. Now, what I was saying is I decided when you hold your needles and you're getting ready to knit from this needle to this needle, there's a big gap still. And 1 just wasn't going to do enough. So what I'm going to do is look for 2, go up under 2 strands. Just look here. And I find myself 2 strands to go up under. So I'm going to knit a stitch there. So that's a stitch. We'll tighten up everything. Okay, so I have 1 stitch by itself, and then I've got 2 to represent where I held those 2 strands together. Now when I jump over a little bit, let's go over. Here's this stitch. That's not, you look for something that's going to be, I'm going to go right up under there. See that? I just find a place up under 2 strands, yarn over, pull up a loop. Go through, let me just do it again. Yarn over and pull up that loop. Now I can connect these 2 needles. I now can knit the stitches off this needle onto this one. And I just knit. That's all we're doing. And this will be round 1 when we get to the end. But we don't mark anything yet. I'll show you how I do my little cheesy marking, but it works every time. So, now this is why I say I'm going to have to be moving this sweater around. So maybe I should not be too close, because so you can see me move the sweater around. Okay, so now I'm just knitting. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can, well, I might save camera battery by going to the end. But you see, now I'm just knitting from one number 9 to another. Not trying to mess with that little yarn and trying to get it. Sometimes the yarn, you can't get the stitch off. But you can easily get it off this needle, from one needle to the next. Alright, I'm going to go around and I will see you on the other end of this arm space. Okay, so I've worked around back to the bottom of the sleeve. And I worked the last, now look, see, no problem with trying to work with that yarn. Here's my extra needle now. I can lay it aside and it will be ready for something else. So I lay that aside. Now I'm back at the gap on this side. I know I have 2 stitches at the bottom to pick up, but I also have this big gap here. So I'm going to go up under 2 strands, as long as you can find 2 strands. Go up under 2 strands, yarn over, pull up a loop. Then go, you see there's the stitch there, so I'm going to go up under 2 strands right here. yarn over, or not, well, over the needle, and then pull up a loop. Now I'm back to my 2 stitches where I added to the very bottom. Can you see that? 1 and then 2, and they go up under 2 strands. Now I'm back to the very bottom of the arm space, and now I can join everything and start knitting in the round. And I can pick up a stitch marker and I can add it right here. There's my stitch marker. Okay, since we're not doing this in 1 by rib or anything, we're just going to knit. Now watch, as soon as I pass this marker, stop. That's on every row, every round, every time. Stop. Because now we're going to tally. Yes, I'm going to use the cheesy tally system. It is so reliable when you're doing this sleeve, because my sleeves are very simple, because I'm, simple. Alright, so I went around 1 whole time, and as soon as I passed this marker, which I did on that 1 stitch, then I know I have done round 1. Only when I pass the marker do I put my little mark. So here is round 1, just like that. Now I'm going to do 4 total rounds with no decreasing or anything. That's the way we're going to always start this particular sleeve. I'm going to call this my basic sleeve. So once you learn this sleeve, you will always just know it. And then we'll get maybe we'll find other sleeves we can do. But this is like my basic 101 sleeve. So the first round is there. So now I'll lay that down. Now this starts round round 2, but I can't mark it until I come around and pass the marker. Now just be careful right here. Remember right here I was holding the 2 strands together, so there's 2 stitches or 2 pieces of yarn. See? Alright, now knit those as one. That one place, and then you can tighten up. See, there's a little tail. You can tell where that. Alright, so now I go around again. This is round 2, but I can't mark it until I come to the marker again. So, I will see you at the end of round 2. Just going round and round. Alright, so I'm coming up to the marker. I've knitted around this sleeve. So as I come up to the marker this time, and the reason I'm just taking time to do this, I probably could just tell you and just move on. Like most, people do. They just say, okay, do this, do that, and okay. But I just want you to see it. I want you to see it for the, first time. And not to, a lot of people try to make it too hard. I'm doing just real simple, just like I'm showing you. This is the way I knit. I keep it simple as much as possible. And I want you to see it in the simplest form. That I follow every step just like I'm showing you. I'm not showing you one way and then I do it another. These are the steps I follow. So now I come up to that last stitch for the marker. I slide the marker. I do 1 stitch on this side to hold the marker. Stop. I have just finished what? Round 3. Cheesy. I just finished round 3. So I lay it down. Now I'm starting round 4. Okay. Now if you're like I said, if you're going to use 6, then it'll be your round 4 also. But once, well, let's just get around. So now I start again. I just go around. This is going to be little short snippets. But I want it all on the video so that it's always there. And then I don't ever have to remember. Because it will be on the YouTube. And if I can't remember or says, I wanted to, no, I can just watch my video myself. Look, we can have a slumber party and we can all get up into bed and get our little something, our little snacks, our crackers and cheese and pickles or whatever, and we can all watch me on the YouTube. Okay. So, I will see you as I go around. I'm saving my battery. See, I'm trying to work smarter. Alright, so I'm coming around to my marker. And I'm just knitting around. my arm space, my sleeve. Here's the marker. I slide the marker. I knit that first stitch on this side to hold the marker. Then I stop, and guess what? I have just finished 4 rounds. So then I come across just like that. Now if you're doing 6 rounds, you've got to go around round 5, and then you would do this at the end of round 6. Does that make sense? Now, this round, if you notice, the first round and 1 round and 4 round and some rounds before the cuffs, we will not do any decreases. Now I start over, and it's the next rounds that we will start the decrease. So now I slid the marker. Now this starts what again? Round 1. See, I'm counting in 4s. You're counting either in 6 or whatever. But so now I'm starting round 1 all over again. And I will do 4 rounds, and at the end of the 4th round, as I come around on the 4th round, I will meet you back somewhere around here before we get to the marker so that we can make our first decrease. If you're doing 6 times around, then you'll have to go on and, you'll be doing your decrease at the end of the 6th round. Or if you're doing 8, you will do your decrease at the end of the 8th round. And that's when you'll make your mark on your little tally sheet. So now, we start round 1. This is round 1 of a set of 4. I will see you back at the end of round 4 so that we can make our first decrease together. Alright, back in a little bit. Alright, so I'm coming up to the end of round 4. So I knit up now, and we're going to make our first decrease. The first 4 rounds, no decrease. Now we do our first decrease. Alright, I come up and I'm going to stop 2 stitches before the marker. Here's my marker. Here's 2 stitches. So I just knit up to the 2 stitches. Just like that. Now watch. This is at the end of round 4. Or 6, whichever rounds you're doing. So you're going to knit 2 stitches together, just like that. Just stick your needle in there and knit those 2 stitches right before the marker. Slide the marker. Now watch. Knit 2 stitches together. Not knit 2 stitches, but knit 2 stitches together. On this side of the marker, slide the marker, now knit 2 stitches together on this side. Just knit those 2 stitches together. So I have a decrease on this side of the marker. I knit 2 stitches together, and then I slide the marker and I knit 2 together on this side. Stop. Go to your tally and watch. I'm going to put a mark across here, but I'm also going to just put a check mark or something so I know that's a decrease. The first one did not have a decrease, but now I'm starting my decrease rounds. All right, so now that's just my little tally. You can have your own. You can come up with your own little thing. But like I said, a lot of times when on this one, if I use my little row counter, you get confused. Like, did I count before? Did I count after? There's no mistake on our cheesy elementary tally. So now I'm starting what? Round 1 again. See, we just go to round 4. We just do 4 rounds or 6 rounds or 8 rounds. Whatever it is that's gonna work best for you. So now I just go around and I continue around. Now, let's talk for a minute. When on my sleeve, for me, I started with 56 because I remember I dropped down. So on this sweater I had 56. On the original basic sweater 101 I had 60. Alright, so I have 56, then I added back 4 stitches right here under the, remember I added on 4 stitches, then 2 in this corner, 2 in this corner. So that's 4, and 4 and 4, that's 8 more stitches. So I've added back 8 stitches. See that? And so then that means my total number of stitches on my needle should be 64. Alright, now if you do the little trick of using the bottom of your sweater, since we've already put the ribs in there, wherever you want your little, and make it comfortable, wherever you want your 1 by 1 to stop, you're going to do this and then count. And there's a knit and a purl, so it counts as 2, 4, 6, 8, and you count how many stitches. It needs to be an even number. So for me, my count is 44. It's the same count I use on all my sleeves. Mine stop right here. This is where I have my ribbing on my sleeves. You'll find a place that you like and you'll use numbers. So what I do, so now the total number of stitches on my needle, I'm just doing it on this little notepad because it was convenient, it's 64. Those are the stitches I added and those 2 in the corner and all of that. So now I'm going to subtract 44. This is just so you'll know a little bit if you just want to know, well, how did I come up with that? Okay, so 44 leaves 20. 44 from 64 for me leaves 20. I'm just showing you the math, but you really don't have to worry about this. I'm going to show you this way, and then I'm going to show you the easiest way. And so, but if you notice, remember, we do 2 decreases, one on this side, one on this side of this little marker right here in the center of my thing. So I divide 20 by 2, and that will tell me that I have 10 sets of 4s. I'm going to do these little sets of 4s, starting with this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to do 10 sets of 4. Yours could be another number, but the easiest way is to just keep up with your tally and just keep going around and around, and then every once in a while, when you start getting down smaller, because I'm going to come back on and show you how to manipulate this needle so that we don't have to go to the double point so quick. But you just, like I'd stop every so often if I, and just count and see how many stitches. See if I was down close to the 44. Then I'd keep decreasing. But if you just wanted to know the actual math of it, this is it. The total number of stitches plus whatever you put back in the arm space, you add those 2 together, there's the number of stitches on your needles for the whole arm space. Then whatever number you want to get down to your cuff, I like 44 right here. Then I subtract 44 from that total number. That's going to give me a number of 20 for me. But since I do 2 decreases on the round then I'll just divide 20 by, in half, and I'll have 10 sets of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll just have 10 of those, and you can count that way. But if you don't want to have to deal with the math, just keep knitting, going around and around, and every time it's time for you to decrease, knit 2 together on this side of the mark, and knit 2 together. I will see you back as I close in on my 44 stitches. So I've got work ahead of me, and so do you, and I will see you back, way before I reach my 44, so I can show you if there's anything that I have missed telling you. Take your time and keep your tally. All right, back shortly. Well, I've been working off camera. As you can see, here's my sleeve. Here's my nice underarm where I picked up, just a little recap. You can see we close off those yarn overs, and then you have a nice smooth transition into the sleeve. Here is my nice seam, just going right up the center. It just makes just something nice and clean. And we've been working on our US number 9 16-inch. We've been decreasing depending on whether you were going to do 4 rounds and decrease on the 4th round, or 6 rounds and decrease on the 6th round, or if some of you've tried 8 rounds and decrease on the 8th round. And we've been doing our little tallying. Now I come back because I'm trying to, especially for new knitters, I'm trying to keep you on your 9 circular needles, because once we go to our 8 double points, well, it will change the gauge, and so you need to stay on your number 9 until we're actually ready to do the 1 by 1 ribbing at the bottom of the sleeve and get ready to do the cuff. So, but as you notice, the more decreases you make, the smaller the circumference, and it becomes kind of, sometimes it gets to be a little struggle to get all the stitches to go around without just stretching everything, just pulling the whole needle and all the stitches all out of shape. So this is what you can do in order to take care of that, the small circumference, and to stay on your number 9s. Let me check my camera frame, make sure I'm in the frame and not too high. Okay, that's good. Alright, so so you're knitting along. I'm on, let's see, I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is going to be my 10th decrease right here, and I already see it's getting really tight to keep using to stay on this number 9, but that's what you need to do, is stay on the number 9, and this is how you're going to do it. As this circumference gets smaller, then as you're knitting around, I want you to just eyeball it and go about 20 stitches. Just look on your needle here, and you just kind of, like I said, eyeball it. It says about 20 stitches. That might not even be 20. Alright, go to the 20 stitches. Now reach up and with your finger pull the cable. Just pull the cable up just like that, just till you have a loop. Just pull the cable up. Now slide all these stitches towards the front of the needle where you're working. I'm working over here as I work on, in fact, I'm working on round 3 because I've got my little tally here. I've already done round 1, round 2, so this has to be round 3. So I'm knitting across. And now you can see, or you will feel, you may not be able to tell just by looking at mine, but all of a sudden your stitches will start to slide again. And it'll be a lot easier to knit them. Even though the circumference is a lot smaller. So then you'll knit that group. Now watch. Push those down. No, move. I got to move my sleeve around now. Move the sleeve around. Okay. Now find another group of stitches. Just push them up towards where you need to go, up towards this end of this needle. Alright, now grab the cable. Just grab it with your finger. Stick your finger in there like that and pull the loop up. Just pull the loop up and push these stitches closer to the point of this, of the side we're working on, of this cable needle. So now I can just knit these, and you'll see it's much easier. You're not straining or stretching the stitches. You're not straining your hands trying to get them around. Okay, so now go ahead. I'll just knit those. Alright, push those down. Rotate. Alright, so now I've come to, alright, I'll push up some more stitches. I wouldn't stop right at the marker because it can fall off. I'd stop either before or after the marker. So I'll just pull up this, I'll go right here. Alright, now reach in with your finger, just like that, and just pull up a loop. Pop that loop up. That's just a cable. Pop it up. Now push these stitches up to the point so that you can knit these stitches off of the needle, just like this. Can you see that? So now I'm knitting. Around and around. Alright, I'm coming up. Let's see what. Alright, so now I'll push these stitches down. Here's a needle here. Let's rotate my sleeve again. Alright, I can see I'm back at the start, so I'll push some of the stitches up and grab that loop, the cable, pull it up into a loop. Now push all of these stitches up so that I can work. Alright, I am on, let's see, this is one. Alright, 2. I slide the marker and I knit the first stitch right on this side to hold the marker. I have just completed round 3 because I can see I've done 1 and 2. So now I'm staying in pattern. Now I need to go around again so I can do another decrease. And around we go. And if you would just do this little, if you just pull that cable up, you will be able to stay on your number 9s all the way till we actually get ready to start the cuff. Let me get to a place and I'm going to stop and then we'll talk a second. So, as you can see, like I just shared on my tally, I'm getting ready to do another decrease. And let's see, I needed 10 decreases. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This will be my last decrease. And whatever your number that you needed to get down to, the easiest way is just to keep knitting until you're close to the number you need to get to. I need to get down to 44 stitches. So I will probably stop here and start counting and see if I'm close or if I hit my 44 or if I made a mistake somewhere and need to go down a little more. But whenever you, but as soon as you reach that number, then you need to do one complete set, another 4 rounds or 6 rounds or whatever rounds you're doing without any decreases. At the very end, at the very end, you need to do one more round, but do not decrease. You will do all your decreases. We started with a round at the very top. Remember when we start working the stitches, there was no decrease. Then we did all our decreases down to the number you need to get to your cuff. My number is 44. But before I can go to my double points, I need one more set for me, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I will be ready to transfer those stitches to my double points and we will work our double points together. Does that make sense? I'll look at this part of the tape and see if I said it right. If not, I'll come back on and redo it. But that's where we are, so I'm going to stop and start counting now that I see that I'm close and see if I came to the right number. And then I need to do, for me, 4 more rounds. And then we'll be ready for our, and don't forget, we're dropping down to a number 8. There we go. We're dropping down to a number 8 double pointed needles. So, all right. Let's continue. And I'm going to stop and count and see how close I am to my number. I hope I didn't mess up anything. and I hope you didn't either. All right, back in a few. All right, so I've worked and I am on the last 4 rounds, and these are the last 4 rounds where I do not do a decrease. I've done all my decreases and I have to do 4 more rounds for me, or like I said, it could be 6 or 8 for you, whatever, but there's no decrease in this round. So I'm just I'm continuing to knit around, and like I said, the circumference is really small now. So as you can see, you just pull up a loop right through the stitches of that needle and continue to just knit around. So let me just do this real quick. I was so close, I thought, let me just go ahead and come back on real quick. I got done a lot quicker. I was watching the weather and all that snow. Oh my gosh. Some places already had 6 inches. Oh, I think I was talking to my friend Jean. Well, she was sending me a message under my video, on YouTube, and I said, oh, Jean, my gosh. They had snow. She was in Indiana, and they have snow already, or a little, and I'm thinking, let me pull up a loop, because see, I can see how tight I can't push the stitches, so I put your finger in there, pull that loop, and then slide all these stitches right on up to the point, so that they will be easy to knit off the needle. Hope I'm in the camera frame. Ooh, this thing is, of course, it's hot and heavy now. I've got it all bunched up on me. Let's see, can I get around? I want to go ahead and get this. This is at night, so I want to get this part on the tape. And then I can charge my battery up overnight. If I can get the double points on here. At least get us started. Okay, let's see how many more stitches I got to go. Wow, this sweater's hot. Okay, slide. And if it won't slide real good, then you know you need to pull up, stick your finger. Pull up some of that cable. Then you can slide them up. And then you can knit them off. Just like this. But yeah, she was just, they having a dusting of snow. And like I said, I was watching the Weather Channel, and my word. Alright, so, look. Alright, this is my last few. So I'm not even going to pull that up. Here's my marker. I can see, okay, that I've come up. Just like that. And I have finished all my rounds. So I'm going to mark. This is, I got the right number, 44 stitches, because I counted them off camera. And then I ended with 4 rounds where I did not decrease, just like when we started. And we didn't decrease. Now, I can just, let's see if I've got a good mark over here. You're going to need a little, sorry. Okay. Oops. Alright, so now we are ready to transfer our stitches to our double points, and we're going to start the cuff. So I can get rid of this marker, but I need to know, you can see the seam, so I know this is, I'm going to put a marker that will just stay here, that won't move, right there. So I'll know every time I come to the beginning of the round. Does that make sense? Okay, so now, like I said, I just want to get this part in tonight. Now I need to transfer my stitches. I've got the right number. I need to get off this number 9 circular. We need to take the stitches down now to our double point. And so usually there's 5. I don't know if there's some with 6. I don't know, but this set has 5, and out of the 5, I'm going to take out 4 double pointed needles. I'm going to work with 4. So I'm going to take the 4 out, and I'll just lay this one aside. Now let's see if I can back out a little bit. I think I need to back out a little bit. I think it's too close. Okay. Now, as we get ready to transfer, this is another little way, little cheesy way that I do. It's old school. You know, everything old school is not bad. You know, and make sure I'm on right there. That's where I need to be. Let's make sure that I'm right here. Okay, everything is not bad. And so this is the way I do it, and it works every time. It's cheesy. It's beginning. It's for beginners. But you always come out with the right results. All right, so here we go. I'm transferring these stitches onto one of these needles. I take one of the double pointed needles, and this is all I do. I don't count or anything. I can cap that side just so nothing falls off. Watch. And I'm going in the stitch in this direction as I transfer. We're not working, we're just going to transfer them over, but I want you to do this. I want you to go knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, and purl. Don't have to count or anything. As long as you start with a knit, oops, there you go, start with a knit stitch, and end with a purl. I don't count or anything. I just make sure they're in the center of the needle here. Now watch. I have to rotate my sleeve. It's getting really tight trying to stay in the camera and have this big old sweater. And if I was just sitting over there on the, you know, where I knit, it'd be okay. All right, I think I'm right here. Hope that was on camera. All right, so I grab up another double pointed needle, put that one in the back, and let's go again. You don't have to count or anything. Just go through it again. Knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. Slide them up. Knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, and purl. You can just kind of see by how many I have left. Knit, purl, knit, and purl. Just as long as I start with a knit stitch and end with a purl. Alright. Rotate it again. Pick up another double pointed needle. Alright, let's see. Knit, purl, 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 knit, and purl. Now I am done with my number 9. See, I can put it back in the pack or get ready to work on another sweater. Push everything to the center of each double point. And now I'm ready to go. Let me make sure my yarn's in here. Alright, the main thing is working with double points. It's just something, like I say, the more you use them, the more, you know, it gives you practice. You will be able to handle them. At first it will seem awkward, but after a while you'll get a rhythm. First thing you do is find the yarn, your tail, your working yarn right here. It's in the back. Here's my empty needle right here that I'm going to knit with. I've already set up the rounds, knit and purl, so I don't have to do that again or count or do anything. I just simply go in. You might want to just put the needles all in the back. Sometimes you have to learn how to use your other fingers to hold things out of the way. But don't worry, you'll figure it out. All right, so maybe I'll put this one in front. Now, here we go. Working off this needle, I'm going to knit, then yarn in front, purl, yarn in back. Now you need to pull these stitches, just pull them a little tight when you start. Knit, and then purl. And if you get lost, all you have to do is go back and go knit, because we've set it up. Knit, purl, purl. Then you know that this is a knit. And then yarn in front, a purl stitch. The first row is going to be awkward. But once you get past this row and you get a little rhythm, you'll go, oh, okay, I'm kind of, you know. Of course, sock knitters, they knit, you know, they use, you get a lot of practice with their double points. I only really have to use them like if something like this, my cuffs. But it's good practice. And see, I didn't have to figure out where I am on this needle, because every needle starts with a knit, ends with a purl, because we already set it up that way. So knit, pull it a little tight when you go to one needle to another, purl, then knit, purl, yarn in back, want to knit, and purl. After a while, it becomes like fun. You can kind of see, go back if you lose your place. Just go and look at some of the stitches you just finished. Okay, knit, purl, knit. Now I need to purl. and knit and purl and knit and purl, knit and purl. There we go. All right, now here's my free needle. I've got to turn, rotate. Just make sure your stitches are kind of in the middle so they won't drop off. Just go around and slide them in. Now I'm ready to start again, and the yarn should be in the back because we need to start every needle with a knit. Pull it tight, yarn in front, purl, then knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. You'll be surprised after a while. You start to relax. At first, even I'm just like, okay, I'm tense. I'm trying to work on this counter with these needles. But after you've gone around a little bit, you'll feel yourself relaxing because you're kind of getting used to it. You're kind of like, okay, knit, and of course I end with a purl. Oops. Whew. All right, so the first row, which is the hardest row. All right, so there's our first row. Make sure go back and make sure your needles are in, your stitches in the center there. There's your round, where you know, the beginning of the round. And so now it's just going right back into pattern. Now I suggest, let me stop here and get the other sleeve. If you go and count, even though we're working on number 8, if you count your bottom one by one, I would try to do at least that number. So I think I had like 15. I think we did like 15. So over here, I did on this sleeve, I did at least 15, and then then it was an extra row that I did the bind off. I did 15, and then, so really I probably had 16, which worked out just, it's fine. But you want a nice wide ribbing on your sleeve to kind of go with the ribbing on the bottom edge. Does that make sense? All right, let's go around and round and round. We've got about however many, you did. Well, at least, like I said, 15 or 16. And I will be back as we get ready to bind off. And if there's any questions or anything I forgot, I'll be sure to add it. And then I will, I'll show you some other little things that we'll finish up with. And show you my buttons. All right, so we're here. You've got your double points. Like I said. And now you know you're going in this direction. There's the beginning of the round. All the stitches are set up. You can just read them now. Knit, purl, and see, at least 15 or 16 rounds to finish up our cuff. I'll be back, and as we get ready to bind off. Take care. Okay, so I was so busy watching a movie that I just went ahead before I knew it. I had finished the sleeve, and I was going to come back maybe before I bind off, just remind you, but you know how to bind off. I looked up and I had bound off my sleeve, but it turned out really nice, and my sleeve looks nice on both sides. I have a nice, let's make sure I'm in the camera frame. I have a nice underarm seam there. I didn't have any problems with large holes or anything, gaps in my sleeve, and I can see where we can see where we stopped the eyelet rows. So there's my seam. Here's my seam going up my sleeve, the back side of my sleeve, right there, nice and really nice and even, and looks really good. So I was very pleased with it. So I thought, okay, so really that should be everything. I weaved in my ends. I forgot when I first started, I keep forgetting to tell you to leave a little tail when we first cast on, because this is that little loop I put at the top in case you want a little button up there. I don't know if that's showing. Can you see it? So when I cast on, I should have said, okay, leave maybe 6 or 7 inches or more, 8. So then you take a small crochet hook, really small, and just crochet like a chain, just make a chain, and then attach it to the back side of the neck. And then you'll have a nice little loop to put a button, because I didn't want to put a buttonhole. They just don't, I just didn't want to do that. So that was that. Let's see, can I think of anything else? But a few little things I wanted to show you. Here's the opposite sleeve, and I like the really long cuff. I went at least 15 or 16 stitch rounds. 15 or 16 rounds to match whatever you did down here on this bottom, on the bottom of your sweater. That's what you want to do, so that it just looks nice, and it looks in the proportion looks great. See, did really good. I was really happy with the sleeves, and I took those 4 stitches out, and man, I'm very pleased. All right, so I was going to have a couple things to show you, but first, the next thing I want to show you are the buttons. I got these buttons over at Hobby Lobby. I don't know, maybe a year or so ago, maybe even 2. So I don't know if they have any more. I only had 2 cards of these buttons. But look, can you see what a perfect match they are? They're like a little glitter, little rhinestone, and they're the same color green. Like I said, I only have 2 cards, so I'll probably, of course, I'll put one at the top, and then I'll have to figure out about where I can kind of add 4. That's all. Now, if I go over there and they have restocked, or, if this wasn't, then I'll go ahead and get the others. But, isn't that pretty on the sweater? Isn't that pretty? I just love those. And I had to look through my stash. I didn't even know I had them. I was going to put maybe just a little gold button or something, And lo and behold, I found one card. And I know, you kind of know yourself. I knew I probably wouldn't have bought just one card of it, one package. So I kept looking. I almost had to take all the buttons out. But I did find a second one. I don't think I would have bought a third one. Usually I buy in 2 when I see buttons, 2 cards of buttons. But now if I can just find maybe 2 more, that might be all I need. Or I'll just leave it with the 4. Or, it's very, it looks real nice if you just have 3. I could take 1 away and just save it for something else on down the road. And just have 3 at the top. What do you think? Alright, so I wanted to show you my buttons because they're so pretty. I just couldn't believe I found these pretty buttons. Alright. Now, the next thing before I end this step 3, this is the end of step 3. We have gone through step 1, the neck and the down to the shoulders. Step 2 was the underarms and the rest of the body and the bottom edge ribbing, all of that. And then step 3, of course, we came back with the same number 9. See, there's no line where I've, if I had to change to an 8 on this sleeve, then you probably would have seen a gauge line. Even if I was even a good knitter, sometimes it just happens. So it's best to stay on the 9, just like I shared with you and went through all the steps. And then when you get down to the cuffs, you're ready to go to the number 8 double points. And that's how it works out. Now, this last thing I want to show you. All right, first of all, on this on Vanna's yarn, it calls for number 9 needle, and it's really a thick yarn. And that's why I like to do all my winter sweaters, or what I call heavier sweaters, because it just knits up really nice. And by it being so much thicker, let me show you what I do. I've been kind of experimenting, trying to get a nicer look. The first thing, you know, this front has points. So now pretend like this is my ironing board. You know, in my laundry room, my big ironing board. So I go and lay my sweater down on the ironing board, and it's really heavy, padded. So then I would take some straight pins. Let's see if I'm on camera, if I'm completely off. Okay, you ought to be able to see what I'm doing. All right, I would take some straight pins, and I would pin right through the ironing board, everything just like that. Just take some pins, find any points. There's points to this lace. There's points, so I would find all the points. I'm going to just do one side, because on the ironing board, that was all I was able to do, is just one side at a time. But I'm just going to pretend here. And see how I'm just sticking pins in, pulling out the points, sticking pins so that I can get ready to steam this sweater. In fact, I'll just pull this side out of the way, because on the ironing board I could only do one side at a time. So we'll just lay this side over. So this is the way it would look on the ironing board. And I'd match everything up as much as possible. There you go. And then now down here, I know you can't see the bottom, but I'd go all the way to the bottom, and I'd pin even this bottom, even the last part of the lace. I'd pin it so that it's matching up with the front, and both fronts like this are all together, okay? And I tried this some time ago, but I wanted to make sure, I wanted to try it again before I started. You know, I just, because we have to be so careful with acrylic and steaming and everything. I tried the handheld, the steamer, but I didn't like it. I went back to my iron steam. All right, so here it is. It's laying on my ironing board. All right, I decided to take a pillowcase, just a regular pillowcase, because a pillowcase, there's two pieces of fabric, and if you lay this pillowcase, and of course the pillowcase is very slippery, very smooth, very easy, you know, it's just smooth. So I would lay this, and then I'd have my iron, and this iron's not on, but you would turn it so that you get steam, but you don't have to have it to the hottest setting, but just enough that you can know that there's steam. And before this, I used to have to hold the iron up, and I was very careful, as you know, because you really can't do too much with this acrylic yarn. But with a pillowcase, there's two pieces of fabric. You can actually iron just like you, just lightly. You're not pressing like you're doing on a pair of pants. You're just lightly running the iron, but you are on the pillowcase itself. And I took a look, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it looked like the pillowcase underneath. It was just this kind of silky looking. When I took the pillowcase off, it looked like that, all silky. Now here, I try not to iron too much, because I don't like to kill my work. Some people like theirs flat as a pancake. I don't. I want to see the ridges. So on that, where I have it pinned, where the points, then I would hold the iron above it. Now the trick of it is, don't move it. Don't move it. Walk away. Do something, for a little bit. I was listening to Jan on her live chat. Hey, Jan. Over in Manchester. She was having a live chat, and I turned it up real loud so I could hear my computer while I was back there ironing my sweater. And so then I went in there, sat down and watched her a little bit, and made myself drink some water. It's hard for me to drink water in the wintertime. In the summertime, man, I drink water. You would think I was an advertisement for Weight Watchers. I just drink water. Wintertime, I can't do it. It's just hard for me to drink water. Yes, I would even drink tea, or of course coffee, or water with something in it so that I don't know it's water. Oh, so anyway, I made myself drink some water. All right, so then go over here to the sleeve. Shh. I'm actually ironing, but not pressing like a pair of jeans, like a pair of blue jeans or something. But I am sliding the iron, and it's not on the very hottest setting, but it's hot enough that I wouldn't want to put my hands on it. And I'm ironing over the sleeve. Get off of it. Don't stay forever. And then when I took the pillowcase off, I don't know if it's just the permanent press making it slide over the yarn, but that's how it looked. Can you see how pretty that looks? And like I say, leave it, walk away. Just leave the iron on, just walk away a little bit. And then when I came back, of course, I took the pins out, and I had points. Let me just take them out. I had the little point sticking out. And then, of course, it was cooled down, so then I took it, and then I rotated it on my ironing board so that I could do this side, and then I did the same thing. I started at the top. I made sure that the next line, I pinned everything. I don't know if it's showing up on the camera how far it is, and then I went through and tried to find the points and pull those out and stretch them a little bit. And if anything's supposed to be there, just pull it out and stretch it. My ironing board is real padded. Whenever after years or whenever of using an ironing board pad, and I've washed it I don't know how many times, and it's just finally time to replace it, I never throw away the old pad. I always just put the new pad right on top of the old one. So I may have 2 or 3 ironing board pads up under there, but it just makes it so much nicer because it's padded. But anyway, so I would just put these pins right into my ironing board pad, and like I said, don't forget to match up the bottom. You just put them together and slide the pin in just like I'm showing you. Like I said, I did this a few, some projects back, but I thought, well, that might just have been a fluke. Who knows? I'll try it again. But anyway, so now there that side is. Let's see if I'm even on the camera. Yeah, there's the side, okay? And then, of course, I take my pillowcase. Just a really nice permanent press pillowcase. And then I just iron it just like if you were ironing your laundry. Actually I'm touching the camera. Touching the pillowcase. But then when you get ready to do this little lacy part that's pinned, you can't really see it with the pillowcase, so hold the iron above it. Okay, and then walk away. Don't touch it. Let it cool down. Don't try to see how it's going to look. Just don't touch it. Let it cool down. Don't move it. Don't do any of that. Like I said, I was watching Jan and then I also was looking at a cooking channel that I watch to see if I can find a good recipe for tomorrow. I always have a problem the Sunday before Thanksgiving because I don't want to cook a huge Sunday meal because Thanksgiving is just a few days later. And then you have a backup of all this food in your refrigerator and a big turkey and all of this. Even though you may have people over, you still gonna have a lot of turkey and everything. And I don't cook, I don't cook like 10 or 15 different items. I'm a 3-person cooker. I don't cook a lot of different. I have a meat, a starch, and a vegetable. Now the vegetables could be combination vegetables, broccoli, carrots, cauliflower, things like that. But I don't have potato salad and stuffing and then rice and then we don't do that. We don't do that. We just don't do that. So I'll have turkey and stuffing, stovetop. Maybe some like I said, the broccoli mix and some every once in a while sometimes I might do sweet potatoes or something like that. But that's it. But that's still a lot of food. I'm talking, so I'm pretending like this is cool. So then once it's cool, you do the same thing. You just take all your pins out, and you're ready to go. You're done. So tell me if this will help you try the pillowcase. Just go in there and grab one of your pillowcases. And see if that will make a difference in how the sweater looks when you're finished. And I thought it really did a great job, much better than what I was doing before. I like it. But now this is on this thicker yarn, so who knows, we have to try it again on some other yarns when we do the other projects. Now all I have to do is sew my buttons, and I'm going to take pictures, and guess what? Ta-da! We're done. We are done. We have made it through step 3, the sleeve and the cuffs. And now we have a beautiful sweater for the holidays. What do you think of that? Well, I have enjoyed sharing these 3 steps with you. This is just the beginning. You see what just a simple suggestion. And I think it was my friend Miss E from New Jersey who first said, Jay, when are you going to do a top down? That was like a year or so ago. Well, Miss E, here it is. I finished. And now you've created a monster. I'm just going top down. Not topless. Top down. So I wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, happy knitting, and just enjoy life. And of course, I'll be working on something else. And stay tuned. I have a Jay's Thanksgiving special where I showcase 2 of my 2 really sweet friends who have just done so many of my designs, so many of my patterns. They have really outdone themselves. And so I wanted to give them a special, and so it's Jay's Thanksgiving special. And then eventually, I've gone through all of my photos, and all the photos that have not appeared will be in my Jay's Christmas special. So we'll have that coming too, when we get closer to Christmas. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Jay, and this is Jay's Knit and Purl Jam. Messed up my name. Jay's Knit and Purl Jam. Happy Thanksgiving. And you be blessed.